like there's
Really?
anything going on.
We had 3 places to play in New York one time, and now we have nothing. They're all closed or not doing music. And this is New York City, one of the largest city in the world, and you can't play, and you can't find an outlet. So, in that point, I guess we're fortunate because there are outlets, not only outlets, but outlets for different kinds of music.
Yeah.
Maybe not enough, maybe not enough nights of the week, but at least you can select a club and go and hear different kinds of music on the same night, and not just weekends.
Yeah, it's true. Helen.
Exciting. Profound. We need a profound moment here.
Profound moment.
Profundity.
Well, what about? I don't know. Sometimes I get the feeling that a lot of the local musicians perhaps are not. I don't know, not taken seriously. And sometimes I wonder whether that's because they're not taking themselves as seriously as they should. I don't know, about really just planning and thinking about what they want to do and what they're trying to present. So I think they just seem to go out there and just love to be on the stage, and so they do it. You know, I don't know.
That's probably because it's a lot easier to sit at home and complain about how bad things are than it is to really get out and book yourselves in other towns and really, you know, get a battle plan, sit down and think about it. It's a lot easier to just sit at home and complain and say things are real bad.
See, it seems to me that you know, the bands that are out playing and have any sort of name, you know, have to work hard. I know, because after 10 years, I'm starting all over again with this new band, and it's a lot of hustling and getting out there and working. And so, to me, if a band's working steadily, then chances are they're a hard-working band, and they are to some extent taking it serious. Whereas the occasional band or the band that you get called up on Friday because they canceled out are the type of people, the musicians you're talking about. So they don't take it serious. And they do cause havoc for the rest of us, because, you know, club owner tends to look at us all as the same thing. You know, I have these guys that didn't act responsibly, or they didn't bother to do any promo, or they didn't come in, they didn't put on a professional show, and then we're all penalized by that.
I mean, do you all have like game plans, sort of?
I think,
you know, like a 5-year plan, or
next week,
or is it just, you know, get me to the next gig and I'll play it, and get me to the next gig after that? I mean, do you have like goals that you're really working toward now?
Goals, yeah. But game plans it's hard to put anything down in black and white because there's so many variables.
And it changes so
Yeah,
much.
Just to get from here to next month, you don't know what's going to happen.
we were just talking in the hallway about Warner Brothers and the kind of people they just dropped off their list of their contracts, and great people, Bonnie Raitt and Van Morrison, and these people are being dropped. So all of a sudden the idea of getting a record contract just isn't really viable anymore. It's so beyond the realm or beyond the reach of most people that independent productions really are a legitimate goal, and I mean, a goal that's reachable, and a lot of us, you know, that to me those are the stepping stones. They aren't quite as high as the stars, but those are the stepping stones that we look at. That I'm speaking of myself personally.
Yeah.
And
I think exactly. You have to be more realistic about your goal. When we all start out in music, we you start out locally and somehow made that leap to the national scene. Now it's more like you start out locally and try to build up
then
a good local thing.
and
Exactly, regional. And if anything, there's probably more success and economically smarter if you develop yourself as a regional act. There are people who are survived by being regional acts and being on small labels and so forth, or putting out their own product. And if you're lucky, maybe things will develop into a national. But you really do have to treat it as a business.
Yeah.
And
you dream big. You don't ever stop dreaming.
You don't stop dreaming, but you become more realistic.
Yeah.
But you do wonder where to go with it, though, because
it's hard.
It seems that there used to be a chance where someone would be in the audience and they'd see, wow, this is it, you're signed, we're going to make a star.
Got it.
And
those days gone.
They're gone. They're obviously gone, but what have they been replaced by? It's kind of frightening. I see groups being created for the studio. They have never played out. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm talking about a large percentage of your recording groups now. They didn't have, I mean, they have all played in bands before, maybe not even that anymore. They just put these people together. They put them with a good producer. They have product out. Then they put a tour together.
And they wrapped it.
You know? So that kind of throws a wrench into your little scheme about, you know, where are we going to go from here?
I think that's why more you do see more independent labels with distributorships with large labels.
The independents are all banding together, and the way it works now is the way you get in the record industry has changed, and all the independent labels, they're usually dealing with one type of music. You have Megaforce and labels like that for metal. You have Enigma, which is a label for punk and, you know, the new wave country type stuff. And the way the big ones like Columbia and things are doing it now is they won't even look at your face if you don't have a record out already.
That's right.
And what they do now is they pick up the independents that are moving 200,000 copies or 15,000 copies, and they see they've got a product they can work with. So you have to go independent.
Everything.
But I mean, I find that bands like us, the bands I talk to from out of town, like us, have reached the same point we have. They've attempted to do the same things we've attempted to do. Like bands like Wrathchild and Monarch. I mean, these are bands that are actually heavier than us. I don't really consider us to be a heavy metal band. But these bands are pretty much of the same mind that we are, that it's like, okay, look at, how many times are we going to go around this circuit? Let's slow down here and take a real good hard look at it. You know, like you said about the bands starting out creating an original show before they think about doing cover songs and hopping into the bars and, wow, watch me copy an Eddie Van Halen song, you know. I mean, to me, that whole line of thinking from day one is warped. Because when I was in California, for 2 years, the scene out there was very much, all of the acts were cultivated from the beginning to be original bands, okay? And there wasn't so much a stress on copy bands. The thing that I think is warped, that is this whole eastern seaboard here, Vermont, has its own little type, but it's the same thing, of copying music. You know, I'm not so sure bands do it for the money or for any other reason than to be on stage and saying, look at me play this song like this guy can play it. Right. To me, that's a little bit warped, but here I am doing it. I'm stuck in it.
No, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of pressure, and I, too, in my travels, found it's less so than other places, not just the Capital District, but it seems, as you say, the Northeast. There's this real pressure to copy and
to be the best copy band you can be.
Really, and play it as well as you can. And the thing is, it obviously takes good musicians to do that, but the club owners expect it. They now want to see your song list, and they want to make sure that song list is current and is what's on the radio, or what's more importantly, what's on the MTV.
Having very little to do with how good the band actually is.
That's right. And you're up against that, and boy, that's a tough nut to crack because it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
In music stores, you don't see anymore when people are just sitting and talking. You don't see, could you show me a scale? Now it's, could you show me a Van Halen lick, or do you know how to play this song? Or, you know, you see the people talking, yeah, we do this band, and this band. It's not like we do originals, we do this band. It's we do this band, and then we do some of theirs.
Yeah. That's why I said that the whole premise of a band starting out doing that and forgetting about being the best copy band in the world, starting out doing originals and just working on that.
See, that's what we try to do.
I think that's great because, you know, I mean, I advise my students to do the same thing. You know, they come in, they go, show me how to play this so I can impress all my friends.
And the other thing...
And I say, look, man, stop, slow down, you know. I mean, if you want to do this as a career, look at it realistically, you know. I mean, I wish that when I was 17, I had been able to look at it that way, but there wasn't, the precedent wasn't set, you know, because of the economy forcing us into the situation. The precedent wasn't set. It was, you have to be a cover band, you have to be a copy band.
The other thing that'll deflate some people, but you don't have to be as good a musician to play original stuff. You can get by if you can forge a unique style, whereas to play the covers, you have to, it becomes a competition.
Nobody can compare you to the records.
Exactly. It's not, can this band play a cover better than this band, and that's where the difference comes in. And plus, if you have two bands that are playing all covers, playing together for a night, they've got the problem, they've got to check each other's lyrics and make sure that if one's playing the top 40, the other's playing, you know, the next 40 through 80 or something, like they're not all playing the same song. I've seen it where, you know, the opening act does a song that the headliner who has a record out is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it creates a problem.
Well, what if, there we go, what if again. Okay, let's maybe to sort of start wrapping things up maybe. If there was just one or two things that you could see happen this year in the Capital District local music scene, what would you really like to see happen? I mean, besides
Just
great
one or
success
two?
for ourselves, right?
Warner Brothers, Columbia.
Yeah, really. I would just like to see people come out to the clubs again, you know, deal with the drinking situation, etc. Come out to the clubs again. I'm all for seeing everyone make a living out of this. Club owners, advertisers, booking agents, and so forth. It's to have people come back out to the clubs again and have the bands therefore do well. When you play out, the main thing, the thing you get often most is having an audience and having someone to respond to you. I like to see people come out again, dance, enjoy it, and it means everyone, you know, once again pulling together.
Take a chance.
Yeah, take a chance.
Take
You know,
a
listen
chance.
to some of the bands, come out, try out some new bands. Don't limit yourself to one or two bands, but if you're going out 2 nights, one night go hear one band, and the other night go out and hear another band. Don't limit yourself to 1 or 2 favorite bands.
Yeah.
And try out different clubs. Clubs too are fun to check
Yeah.
out.
So many people, though, are wrapped up in being cool. It's like,
Oh,
if you go here, you're not going to be cool, or if you dance, somebody's going to think you're
Yeah,
a fool. Just get rid of that.
You know, that experimentation, that willingness to try and hear new things, that doesn't just go for hearing different bands, but also hearing different kinds of music.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I like to hear a good band. I don't care what they're playing. If they're doing it
Exactly.
well, I have a good
Exactly.
time.
yeah.
And
Exactly.
you got, the average consumer has to break out of this little jail that they put their mind into. They say, well, I only like this kind of music, and
Yeah.
everything else is garbage.
Absolutely
You know, we come
agree.
across that a lot. You know,
Absolutely agree. And I thought it was only musicians attitude, but I have met consumers of music who are like that too. And what we need is more of that, and not people just look for what they've either seen on MTV or what they've heard on local radio. But as you say, just go out and try it. If you hear they're a good band, go out and hear them.
really.
I have a couple of things I'd like to see. First of all, I'd like to see a good acoustic club with a real commitment to acoustic music, because it's different than bands. It requires a different kind of club, a smaller club usually, and it usually doesn't. You don't need the stage, you don't need the room that you need for a big band. I'd love to see a club with a commitment to acoustic music open up in downtown Albany. I can't tell you how many times people say, "When do you even play in Albany?"
Really?
Where?
But and also bring in a few national acoustic
Sure.
artists, because there are plenty of them out there.
Well, you know, there's Mother's Wine Emporium just right up in RPI. 3 nights a week has free concerts.
entertainment.
And these are nationally known people.
Right.
You know, they have incredible acts up there. 3 nights a week for free.
The
Although
McNeil Room does some good
McNeil
stuff,
Room is
too.
great.
Yeah.
I would also like to see more people who might be in downtown Albany saying, well, it's Thursday night, but there's some good music in Troy tonight, or there's some good
Yeah.
music in Schenectady. It's not 100 miles away. It's 10 miles up Route 5, for crying out loud. You know, or just a couple of miles. Go out and see new stuff out your windows of your car. It can be great. And the other thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see more coverage of acoustic music in magazines like Metroland and Times Union and Knickerbocker News and there's so many acoustic singles out there and so many clubs really supporting it and so many people coming out to see it. I'd like to see that reflected in the kind of press that we
In the
get.
media.
Yeah, I was about to say that regarding the type of music we do. I mean, I feel that the public in general, locally, has been pretty supportive of our band. I wish I could say the same for the media. You know, it's just I feel we've been ignored as a band, and one would think that the media, radio stations or newspapers or whatever, would somewhat want to be behind the local talent, and I feel that since nothing has been mentioned ever anywhere except the one letter written into Metroland by one of our fans asking how come we've never been written about, I would just like to see that in the future.
Point well taken. I'd like to see 2 things. I'd like to see a good-sized showcase club
Yeah.
anywhere within 20 miles of here would be fine.
Yeah.
we'd all
And I don't
agree
think
with
we should
that.
wait for the civic center to do it. That's not what we're talking about. I think just a good-sized showcase club that will take local bands and let them take that step and at least, make them feel good about themselves, make them feel like they're going somewhere, even if it doesn't mean anything. Or a chance to be heard in a nice, comfortable room with a big stage and a good sound system.
sound system.
But that's a tough one. I'd also like to see a well-equipped, well-staffed, state-of-the-art studio around here. They're the people who have the studios around here are doing a great job with what they have. They're nice people. They're really easy to work with. They come out with some great product. I still see bands going out of town
Yeah.
to record. They go down to New York. They go to Connecticut. They go to Boston.
Massachusetts.
Why can't they stay here? That's all. We just need someplace where they can stay here and do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music to be recorded, and there's a lot of money to be made doing it.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Well, first off, I'd like to agree with Alan. I mean, there are certain forms of music that they don't get any coverage. I write an article for The Buzz, and I've been trying my best to get out to the different clubs, and I've been trying to open myself up even more to different types of music, but it seems the type of music that Triffid plays has a bigger audience as an audience for that type of music than any other music here, and it's just going unnoticed. And I mean, all the different types of music, they need the exposure too, and if local radio, non-college, would open up to playing some of the local music, which is basically a dream since everybody's formatted now, you're not really going to see that happen. That, and just to see more people, young, old, anybody, just take the chance and play original stuff.
That's right.
I mean, the way I look at it, if these people want to make it big, you can be playing the worst original music in the world, and you're still going to make it farther fame-wise than you would playing the best covers in the world. Because you can only make it so far playing the covers, but if you can get someone to listen to your originals, you might be able to take
You're
it
the only
farther.
place they can hear them, too.
Right.
What do you want to see?
And
And some people like bad music.
And as I always say, that every famous song that has made it, it got played someplace the first time, and it was unknown the first time it was played.
And every band,
The band's a local band.
the
That's
Rolling,
right.
the Rolling Stones were a local band when they
And
started out.
the Police played the Hull Blue on a Wednesday night to 15 people, and traveled in a van.
Pat Benatar got paid $125 at J.B. Scott's.
Yeah, really.
$78,000 2 years later at SPAC.
Yeah, really. And
Wow.
people have to understand that everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah.
You're a local boy. What do you want to see, man?
Yeah.
I'd like to see some more of this. This is pretty good.
This is a great idea, and well done, Sarge.
It's good. It's not often that, people really get out and... Because I think the local music community is pretty strongly divided into factions,
Yeah.
and people don't go out and, talk to somebody else who's maybe not playing their
Well, they
particular
play.
style of music.
Yeah,
So,
everybody finds it easier to just say, oh, that acoustic music.
Yeah.
If they just be willing to get out a little.
Or that's for the funk rockers.
Find out the true things,
And the thing
rather
is,
than just
yeah, and the
relying on-
thing is that we're all sharing the same common problems.
Yeah.
Yep,
You know.
exactly. No
I mean,
matter
it
what
doesn't
kind of
matter
music
whether you're playing country or acoustic or metal or punk or reggae or rap, whatever. You're out there and you're facing the same problems.
Yeah.
And sometimes just to sit down and talk amongst each other, maybe you can come up with some steps toward solutions, if not solutions themselves.
I'm glad you didn't ask us all to jam together.
Yeah, we were going to do like White Christmas now at this part of the show,
It would have been
but...
the silliest thing.
But we forgot the piano. You were supposed to bring the piano, and nobody brought it. So, does anyone have any other statements or
The muffins were good, the blueberry muffins.
the muffins
were
were
very
good?
The world is round.
That that they want to make that we maybe didn't cover today.
Just everyone come out and hear all of us. We're
Yeah.
all out there. And,
All the time.
And
Don't
we're
do
looking
anything
for
else.
support.
Spend all your money.
Quit your jobs.
If you're not familiar with acoustic, start with Bridget. If you're not familiar with country, start from Bovine. Go from there. Talk to them. Find out.
Yeah, and there's enough people around.
Bands like it when you come up and talk to them and say that you like them, or even if you didn't like them, tell them what you
I
didn't
don't like that as much.
No, no.
But find out. Find out from the bands themselves.
Don't do it while they're playing a song. You
Right. And
Just above all, don't get drunk and request a closer walk with me,
right. Don't throw anything.
except money.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming. Really appreciate it.
With
And
pleasure.
perhaps next time we can sit down with 5 club owners and talk about their problems.
I want to be here.
Okay.
On another side of glass, right?
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much. This was Metroland's meeting of the musical minds, and Rick, Bridget, Alan, Al, Mike, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
See you later.